Hi, hello, welcome to the Lunar Lounge series brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess Abossi. I'll be your oracle today. I was sent to deliberate the findings for the new moon in Leo on or around the 24th of July, depending on where you are on the surface of the planet. We have a little bit of the energy prepared already. We're going to go a little quicker today. So it's going to be Speedy Gonzalez. There's an option to increase or decrease the playback speed. Number one of the housekeeping. Number two of the housekeeping is oftentimes, and not always, but usually there is a link to a summary in the show notes. It's typically between the Hamsa hands, and that could be, the Ayah Fatima. That could be the description box or the about section or the show notes, depending on the platform you're coming in through. And we're going to go ahead and begin. We're using the Thoth Tarot today to illuminate and deliberate the findings. We're imposing the guidance from the Thoth Tarot. It's illustrated by Lady Frida Harris, but created by Aleister Crowley, and that's over at US Game Systems. We also use the Daily Oracle by Vida Sibila to clarify. And typically with this deck, we deliberate the findings around correlative and corresponding energy, and we also use the minor arcana from the Cosmic Coven Tarot. We do more clarification there, and that's typically used to deliberate the findings around pairings. That's by Lisa Lazenby over at Ripe Avocado, and that's one of the last decks we use to clarify. If love comes out, then we'll talk about that deck at that time. Let us begin. Vertex of Abundance is a galactic temple of ascension, delivering sacred messages from behind the veil. If anything resonates deeply with you, remember to smash that like button. You're free to also comment, share, subscribe, leave a review, book a session, send a donation. I want to say a quick prayer for all those still lost out there to illusion, delusion, confusion, lost in the seas of time, trapped somewhere in the matrix, yet to heal, yet to awaken, yet to return to the resplendent grace of the divine, unconditional, loving, universal oneness. Upon we love you. Sorry, please forgive us. Thank you. We ask that our steps be ordered, our path be illuminated, and that we find salvation and redemption in this lifetime. Okay, so we have a little bit of the energy ready. The reading can go slow or quick, and that's why I'm saying we're going to go Speedy Gonzalez. You're free to speed up the playback or lower it. We go until we have the High Priestess and the Strength card, since we have the Moon High Priestess in Leo, the Strength card. So one thing I know is that we're needing to make some changes. There may be a need to ask for help or to strip or something of that nature. There's also this energy here of we're winning based on what we put in. It could be that we have the Midas touch. It could be that we're standing in our own devices. We're left to our own devices because at a previous time other than now, maybe it's the recent past, maybe it's the distant past, we planted seeds or we made some type of investment. And those seeds, those sowings that we did, that sowing that we did in terms of the seed, we're able to reap in the near or distant future. Those investments that we made, we're able to yield from in the near or distant future. And that's triumphant. There's been some type of trial, some type of exaltation from a said trial. We've been tested in that sense. In addition to that, something's moving swiftly, quickly. There's an expansion, a vectoring, an acceleration of some kind. Yeah, there is a creative new beginning. You know, we have the Three of Swords, Ace of Swords, clarifying. Okay, so we have a secure reading. Pardon me, just 1 second. We have the Three of Swords, Ace of Swords actually clarifying a whole message. So we were giving our true self what we had come to know and master from our authentic self, our true nature. Really, we found or we're living out of or we're making something out of our authentic self, true nature, something genuine, sincere, authentic is coming from us in an enduring way. It's not a fake, a front, a lie, a cap. It's nothing fake, phony, fictitious. It's not imposter energy. It's true, authentic, genuine. And it's necessary to say here, we'll know more why this necessity exists. A distinction with the cups is that we have this closeness to divine divinity. If it's God, source, creator energy we use to interface whatever technology, we access the divine through, take it as it resonates. We have a secure message here. The bag has been got. And it's not actually what they're saying in terms of money, cash, dollar bills. It could be divinity, the Holy Grail, the access, the blueprint, the recognition, the judgment, the decision, the favor, the redemption, the salvation, whatever that looks like. It's pulling through, it's come through, it's here, it's arrived. So we have the Three of Swords and this Ace of Swords clarifying the magician. If we're putting petitions out there into the universe, if we have our will that we're striking upon the universe, if the environment surrounding location is being the place, the platform, the precipice from which we launch some kind of intentionality. Maybe even we strike our will upon the universe or we decree something. Perhaps we get some type of ruling, even. Okay, so we have a ways to go here. Because over the last 6 weeks, we've been thumbing the depths of our soul. We've been percolating, matriculating as well. There's been some type of intellect, reasoning, communication, theories, techniques, technologies, perhaps in some type of skill, gift, craft, talent. Perhaps at one time they were latent, now they're becoming manifest. We might have had to work through some kind of potentiality, process it. Now we're cultivating something, beauty, tactics. There's some type of conception, gestation here in terms of our culture, in terms of our nurturing, in terms of our creativity. Culture means to cultivate the environment surrounding location, the customs and traditions of said environment surrounding location with the addition of the people, places, and things create a type of culture. And to cultivate means we take what we're given, we take what we're nested, we take what we're vested, and we create some high vibrational outcome, typically through creativity and nurturing. And it would be something that we're nurturing or, conception, gestation. We might have been sitting with it for a while. It might have been alive in us at some time. It might have been inherent in our nature. It might have even been through issue of our birth. It's going to be different just for different folks. Same energy, however. There's some crowning here. The material side of spiritual affairs is coming through. It's vesting, it's breaching. And it will be the truth. It will be a decisiveness. It will also be clarity. Now, over the last 2 months, we've been working through something, and whatever we've been working through is to manifest. we're trying to manifest out of our practical skill, or we're trying to master some type of practical skill. It can be something of the daily acumen. It could be something related to our profession. It could be something managing our societal or our means in terms of stability, foundation, even monetary means. That's what I mean by means, societal or daily living. And we're moving, so we're launching from a place of mercurial energy and we're going into Venusian energy, which means that who we are, what we're about, as we navigate and negotiate through the environment surrounding location, is beginning to bear upon our material reality. I know this is very ethereal, very ethereal. This is very ethereal, very esoteric. But this is what is in front of us. This is where we're at here. Countering this, if I can give this a little bit more context, there's been a lack of this energy. So we didn't really know who we are. We didn't really know what we are. We didn't really know what we were about. Or said differently, because it might not look like that for some of us. If it doesn't look like that for some of us, we didn't know what to do with where we were or what we are. Now, if none of those resonate, it's true. However, that would just be, it wasn't clear to others. We could have known what we are, we could have known what we were about, we could have known our purpose, we could have known what to do with our purpose, but it wasn't being well received. It wasn't perfectly or even well aligned in our environment surrounding location. There's going to be some shifts there. It will be somewhat prickly or precarious. We have a couple retrogrades right now. So there's terms and conditions here. There may be the slow or the delay or the rupture or the diversion of some traction. The path that we're on may shift according to timelines, according to edict from a higher source, whether it's our Lord in terms of rulership, whether it's our Lord in terms of heavenly or supernal energy. Take it as it resonates, higher power. Over the last 2 months, we've been spending time mastering, and that's also creating some type of cultivation. So we're moving into prophecy. High Priestess with the Judgment card. That's also an energy of calling judgment, calling an audience, convening and paneling some type of witness, whether it's a tribunal, a court, whether we're just gaining witness. Three of Cups is witness, it's testimony, it's also an answered prayer or a grant of assistance. Is not the full thing. We have a double three here. So these are the positive threes that I'm inclined to say we have some type of co-creation, collaboration, cooperation. It would be coming from the universe with the Judgment card. We're actually sitting in a cycle where we don't give, we don't share a lot. We just show up and let energy speak for itself. We let the cycle play itself out. We let the work show for itself. We don't necessarily need to provide a narrative. We don't necessarily need to give or push or advocate for something. We don't need to champion a cause. Our energy and the quality of our soul, the purity of our heart will do enough. Now, we may also be prompted to share, and actually, the High Priestess should never speak unless the Judgment card is present. So there is a little bit of testimonial here, witness. There's no court other than the Judgment card. We don't have a 4. But this is saying that 3 weeks or so, there's going to be some kind of revelation or judgment. There's going to be some kind of redemption or a sign. There can't even be the blinding flash of the obvious or some type of revelation. It has already started. It's already underway. It can come from a reunion. It can come from a communal situation, 3 of Cups. Ultimately, the cycle is here and we should have a knowing. The High Priestess is a pure, exalted, gracious influence over an entire cycle. And we're short on time, or at least I'm feeling short on time, regardless if it's true or not. That Adelante, there's been some type of missed opportunity or mismatch, misalignment that is itching to be corrected because something has kind of matured and there is an energy here of something wanting to be put to bed, and it might be hiding in plain sight. So objects in the rearview mirror may appear closer than they are. Something hiding in plain sight may not be as it seems. There's actually some type of consolante sorpresa. There's a consolation prize. There's something here of value, whether it's a revelation, whether it's an actual gift exchange, whether it's an actual token of affection. There's something here that would have been given or granted or provided if things had been clear at another time. I'm gaining the energy, and I'm left with the impression that there was a misattribution. Something was mislabeled, misperceived, misjudged. Somebody was mistreated, misused, mistaken, and that's being aligned, that's being corrected. There is a creative new beginning, and it's starting right now. Over the last couple few weeks, we've been managing or falling into our path, our true path, the one that would please our higher power and satisfy whatever terms and conditions were there. And over the next 3 weeks, there will be some type of cycle revealed to us that is already actually starting to be judged or coordinated by the supernal authorities, meaning the highest echelon of the universe or galactic or cosmic governance. However, we interface with that technology, take it as it resonates. If it's a higher self, if it's our angels, if our ancestors, if it's just pure science, whatever makes sense. So now we have the Two of Wands, Nine of Pentacles clarifying this Death card. The Ten of Swords with this Wheel of Fortune says that there's been a difficult cycle. It might have been an ordeal. It might have been most particularly precarious, most decidedly pernicious, because something's coming that we've been watching for a long time. And the way this energy goes together is we weren't actually anticipating it to come. It looked like a situation that was, there's going to be movement on something that we thought was stuck, that was decaying. Amalato was the malady, the sickness. There was a little bit of distress. Disperata petulosia here means the desperate jealousy, but it doesn't necessarily need to be despair or jealousy, but there was distress. So we're feeling either defeated, canceled, backstabbed, betrayed. Those are kind of judgmental words and a little bit precarious, violent even. Ultimately, the Ten of Swords is a breakdown after a breakthrough. I mean, a breakthrough after a breakdown. Pardon me. The Page is feelings. Page of Swords feels the Ten of Swords. But it also could be that we're finally prepared to receive the type of technical skill. Finally, we understand how a little tiny specific aspect to a situation, to a cycle works. It's kind of like hindsight is 2020, but boy, was that a painful recollection, recognition, or even lesson. The Page of Swords could also mean beginning the journey, preparing for the journey of learning intellect, reason, communication. That can include talents, crafts, gifts, abilities. Lastly, it could represent some type of delayed news. Because it's some type of cycle. So this house brings in destiny and timelines and fortune. With the Ten of Swords, I'm not necessarily going to take a negative because it's not a 3, 5, 7, or 9, which would give this a reversal meaning. So yeah, the Ten of Swords would typically make this, because the Ten of Swords can cancel out any energy. It's actually supported here. We've been waiting on a cycle to reveal itself so we can speak up or offer our 2 cents or provide value, insight in a situation. That'll make itself known, because when we have the keep hearing muerte, when we have the death card and la ruota, fortuna, it's a windfall. But I feel that this windfall is like the moment falls upon us, or the timing finally works, or something aligns, something coalesces. And again, it's just starting, 2 of Wands. That's something just getting on the way. We're at the crossroads. We've chosen a direction. The precipice is starting. The vessel has just embarked. We've just left the dock. We've just set sail. We've just sent the vessel out to sea. Now, over the last few weeks, since we are a week into the moon cycle, on the way towards the moon, a choice, an option, some type of dominion will reveal itself, because there might have been some standards and boundaries. There could have even been some self-interest in something that was short-sighted. When we have the Fool and the moon, there's going to be new insight, intuition. We need to lean into our intuition. I'm going to tell you point blank, period, in the story. We have a double 5 here. Something was a decline. It was a depletion. It was a debilitation, destabilized. There could have been some type of loss. We have a message from the other side. Both of these fell face down. It's compounded here. Something that previously was short-sighted with it was short-sighted. Okay. I said self-interest. It was short-sighted. It was a lose-lose situation. Somebody might have been a little bit selfish, a little bit vicious, a little bit malevolent, malicious, or malignant. It doesn't have to even be of an evil, sinister, wicked bent. It could have just been low vibrational or fear-based, or like I said, it's coming out. It's born out of short-sightedness. Somebody might they were short-sighted. They might have done something which limited a situation or painted a view that it wasn't going to work, because I was feeling that it was a breakup. Somebody said no to something, and then turns out later on that no was not the answer. That actually, if we knew more, if we could have done more, it would have been a little bit different. And there's some type of striving here. We're sitting in a situation strong or whatever. I don't have all the details to interpret that. What I'm sensing here is that there's going to be some new fulfillment, contentment perpetually. 10 of Cups, Full card. That could mean a new place in heaven after being attacked. Because this is feeling attacked. Uh, there's really no way around that. Now, ultimately, it means that we needed to put up standards and boundaries and to keep something at bay, maybe even to revoke or to withdraw or to void a situation, to give it no power, to render it, because we have the 5 of Wands as well. That means we're dealing with petty energy. Somebody here definitely has jealousy, 5 of Wands. It could even be hatred, 5 of Swords. They could be ruminating, oscillating, vacillating, marinating in hate, ruminating in venom kind of deal. We have a double 5, and these 2 5s together equal massive amounts of hatred. It brings in an energy of petty, boring, ordinary, basic, with the 5 of Wands. Bottom of the barrel type of energy typically is rife with conflict, conundrum. Somebody may even be contesting something. It could be documentation, it could be some type of legacy. It could also be contesting our worth, you know, diluting, distorting, diminishing, disowning. There's conflict, contestation, conundrum, something's cross. There's a challenge here. And honestly, this energy is leaning into it. Something here needs to confront what's alive in itself. This energy needs to have a dark night of the soul, or be alone with itself, and drum the depths of the soul, reach into the subconscious and take an inventory, you know, take stock of what's there. The nicest way to put it. I don't have kind, polite things to say today. This energy is most particularly unpleasant. And when there's a new moon and we have kind of salty energy here, it means there's a re-invocation of the sovereignty of oneself. So the new moon is about intention setting over the next 6 months. And then in Leo, it's not about the self as is commonly taken. It's really actually about sovereignty. And it's about standing in the self and radiating outward. So the question with Leo is, what is the gift we come to bring in the world? And we did start with the magician. Il Progetto is the craft, the talent. There are other meanings, but that's how I take it in my system. So we have new insight, new intuition with the Fool and the Moon card. Yeah, because there's an ending, but it's going to be with some energy, entity, ideology, perhaps an enemy in our environment, surrounding location. It's probably most likely a being in the form of a person, but it could be a place or an inanimate object that has been enchanted. Is needing to go through an ego collapse. What it's saying here that it's their own. They are their own worst enemy. They're probably ruminating, oscillating, vacillating at some type of resentment here. It could be other things. The thing about El Nemica is that this is somebody you let inside that has access to a warm and fuzzy place that could create harm. They can inflict damage, but not external, like another negative card here. This is like they have personal knowledge to what we feel, to our emotional life. I'm hearing the word hater. I don't have the context here, although the energy is here. I just don't know how to interpret this. I think it's a me problem, not the card's problem. I might have migrated on from this energy. This is hidden jealousy, ulterior motives, hidden agendas, hidden enemies, moon card. Something is latent. We don't actually know that we're giving to a situation. You know, we're trying to take people to the top with us. They don't want to see us at the top. We're trying to give the benefit of the doubt. These people are now safe, respectable, trustworthy, or even likable when their true authentic self is seen. And it's not about who they are, what they are, what they're about. It's about the energy that they're embodying right now. This is an unhealed energy. And it's not the kind of unhealed that's unawakened. This is the type of unhealed that's stuck in their issues. They've dug in to their malady. They've dug in to their affliction. So it's no longer about being unhealed, unawakened, living in sin. This is becoming intentional because they're not rising to the occasion, because they're taking excuses, making excuses for being, for missing the mark. Okay. This is an energy that you would need to release because they're becoming Shudra. No, this is not an energy in it. There's an edict here from the divine that they're foreboding. As long as they present themselves this way, we can't have anything to do with them. They're taking themselves out of the running for whatever. We can't sit with them. You know, we have the rule of fives here, which is you are the average of your five closest friends. You are the average of the five books that you recently read. You are the average of the five anything. If you're an investor, your five investment strategies. If you're a socialite, you are the average of your five closest relationships. If you are a business owner, you are the average of your five most performing businesses. If you are, you know, a parent, you are the average of the five greatest lessons you taught your child. We have the average of fives here, and they're going to bring our average down. Do you understand? This is not, this is not, that's it. This is not, we can't. It's not that we don't want to. We would if we could, but we can't. They haven't given us enough to work with. And honestly, they're going to need to be left to their own devices and work with themselves. Hopefully, they'll catch us at the top. Hopefully, they'll catch up later on, but we do need to vacate. whether it's an energy, an entity, or an ideology in the form of a person, place, or a thing, we need to vacate. So we've moved on to the King of Swords, Knight of Swords, clarifying the Hangman. We also have a Three of Pentacles coming with this Star card. So over the next 3 months, our the calling in our life path, spirit, karma, destiny, also our hope, faith, and optimism. Something about a bigger, brighter, better future is imbuing itself upon us. We're going to be planting seeds towards that over the next few months. There's an energy here of a Taurus rising. It's not us. And if there's nobody present, something's happening in Taurus energy. It could have to deal with Uranus, because there's the beginning of a material future. Material abundance is at the gate. We've been spending a lot of time building something, I feel, or cultivating something. There's been a burdensome cycle. It could have just been laborious, something that required a lot of discipline and insight. It could have been something where we were carrying a burden. Perhaps in the future, we'll have an ability and an opportunity to put something down. There may even be a need to put something down. We'll know more about that in a short while. With the hangman here, there's a surrender, a sacrifice. It's a let go, let God kind of energy. Because currently we have a small minded, and I'm going to say this, perception. There will be a larger minded and a more evolved or elevated perspective and a future time. And that has to deal with getting or gaining this technical knowledge, mastery, really, because we're wanting, kings want with the Five of Swords, we're wanting a boundary standard or to block something or to hold something out. We're needing to be vigilant about something. Now, I'm sure we wanted to lay down arms. We wanted to invite someone in, find harmony and happiness and community with this energy. That might not have been the case. We were actually told, if you feed it, it will eat you. If we work with that energy, it will, in fact, deplete us or make us unworthy in some kind of way, shape, form, or another. The particulars of that are going to be according to you. This is a general reading. You may need a personal reading. That information is in the show notes, my dear. There's been a delay to our destiny. There's been a delay to our life path, spirit, karma, destiny. We need to use faith, hope, optimism, be guided by faith, not by sight. And we need to let go, let God to gain a bigger perspective, because right now we have a very small perception and it's limited. We may be focused on the emotionality of holding on to something. We need to adopt that energy of being chosen. Chosen is elite, spiritually elite. That means you're an alpha. Almost like, you know, there's nothing kind to say. There's nothing polite to say. This is basically dump the dead weight, dump the energy. It's not abandoning, it's not selfish. To hold on and to carry on would be to involve ourselves in another person's karma. In societal circles, that would be called to participate in drama. Here, it's yoking ourselves to karma, negative, bad karma, that we wouldn't be chosen if we were carrying. Our karma is to go through harsh experiences and to be graceful and refined as we navigate through them. Our job is to not co-sign everybody's misery. Uh, Pardon me. We may have Mars in Aquarius here. There also may be Mars in the 11th house. There may even be somebody with a rising sign in Mars. Now, most likely, excuse me, a rising sign in Aquarius. Now, most likely they're not us. we're going to have some kind of high-minded understanding and ideal come, and there will be people that get it. After leaving them behind, they will catch up. But that's just it. Come through and I will dance with you. You know, sometimes we got to walk alone for a little while because part of being real and part of honoring our legacy is to be the best that we can be. And suborning inelegance, suborning mediocrity is to collaborate with sickness and illness. And I'm saying that on a spiritual level. There's a word for that, it's just really negative. So yes, we can reunite with people. We could really, really, really give all that juice, join us in creating excitement juice. However, it needs to be substantive and productive. It needs to be progressive. It can't be triage, and it can't be coalescing with convalescence. These cannot be people that are concussed or mediocre or remedial. Pardon me. Something here is institutional, and I don't mean mental health. I mean like priests. They need to seek help from a higher power. Because that hole in their heart, that lack of ambition, that lack of vision, that's a God problem. Now, we could be dealing with some type of Aries moon to a lesser degree. There could be Capricorn rising. It's unfortunate. We do need to mourn and grieve the fact that not everybody can come with us where we're going. They might not even have access credentials. They might not even have access. Queen of Wands, Ten of Wands, that's needing to put something down. So we're carrying around dead weight. What does Jim Rohn say? We're not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You can carry one man on your back, but you can't carry three, especially not grown adult men. It's a proverb, you know, it's allegorical. Basically saying like, we can help people help themselves, but we can't do the work for them. This is gonna need to be when we take mastery outside of our belief system. There's a rule, procedure, policy, protocol. There's status quo going by the book. We need to adopt that because it'll give us self-governance and self-mastery. It'll give us system structures, foundations, tools, techniques, technologies, theories, techniques, methodologies. It will give us franchise and purchase in a way that is enduring, instead of indignant. I'm saying another word for tradition. We've been made, we've been enshrined, we've been installed by a higher power. So to suborn this miserly embittered, to suborn this inadequate and low vibrational energy would be out of tradition. This is reading is very intense. It I'm hearing expletives, I'm hearing harsh language, I'm hearing very we're dealing with people that don't cut it, and they are coming at us, coming towards us, coming for us, trying to tear us down, tear us apart. Now, it's not always intentional. Most of these people, a large majority of these people, are just unhealed, unawakened. They need prayer, they need compassion. They don't need us to tolerate them, however. Not in a way where we perpetuate the cycle, the situation. Perhaps, yes, we can give to them Perhaps, yes, we can support them in some way, but not close quarters. We can't carry them with us where we're going. We can't give them access to what we got going on. We can't do the work for them. And we can't hold ourselves back trying to help or heal these people. We would be adding ourselves to their karma. We would be dishonoring the covenant of a calling on our life. We would be a disgrace to the tradition of our sovereignty here in this life as a member of the chosen. And we would be forsaking our purpose in this life. In some sense here, we're spiritually elite. I want to say it that way and move on. Because Queen of Wands, Ten of Wands, we need to put something down. There's a lot we can do. When we're a ruler, we're a leader, we take charge, we're self-governed, we're self-managed. We do have the vision to command whatever situation that they're going through, but we also have some type of authority that's unseen here. And part of that authority is to leave, is to let it go. I'm hearing the word let it die. Yeah, there's some deeper insight to gain here. So yeah, withdraw, Eight of Cups. That would be the right thing to do. That'll bring things in balance, bring things in alignment. And it's unpleasant. It's an unpleasant experience. It's an unfortunate circumstance in a situation, and we need to take an unfavorable position. We have a pair of eights. A pair of eights can mean manipulation, can mean spell work, can also mean rumination, oscillation, vacillation, rumination mostly. It means time, energy, effort, and indulgences. We spent a lot of time in an environment surrounding a location. There should be some kind of wisdom gained. I'm hearing the words, it was hard to tell just how good I felt. The saddest part of a broken heart isn't the ending as much as the start. So we lose our mind for the sake of our heart. So this is saying to be logical and rational. And it's difficult from the human experience to understand that because really this is coming from 7th and 9th dimension. And we're down here in the 3rd and 4th dimension. So everything's a lot more emotional to us. But the way that the higher energy looks at the lower energy is that it's really just, does it resonate? Does it align? If it doesn't, it repels. And we're down here with our free will, so we can form attachments and enmeshments. When really, from a higher perspective, you either attract or you repel. And if we weren't entrenched, if we weren't enmeshed, a situation would be repelling. But since we've sunk our hooks into something and our ego is involved and invested, yeah, again, we've got to put something down. We made an agreement to let go. Six of Cups is the agreement we made in the divine, and the Six of Cups is here again too. So we made an agreement to let go. I don't mean to laugh. It's not funny, but it is hilarious. Yeah, so this is repress, suppress, oppress, depress, a pair of fours. There's mirror magic and being pinned down in a jar. So it's energetic containment. This is a covert situation designed to ensnare us by soliciting or baiting our compassion. The thing about this is as we walk on forward, walk on by from this, we're going to be left concussed in some type of way. Convalescence is the word. Because, yeah, it does leave a wound. We're going to need to recuperate from something because it's a trauma. This is traumatizing. It's essentially what I'm saying. So we need to put our energy into securing our position, which is going to have to go along with our duty. This is not part of our duty to drag them along with us. Yes, say everything and intercede for them in front of the divine. We don't need to interfere, intervene, interrupt. All we need to do is intercede, meaning intercession, prayer. something psychoeducational where we inform and instruct. We don't need to intervene. So there's the energy here of the sun and Virgo, and that could be our powers here are of discernment and refinement and some technical knowledge. It could be that we're coming up against some type of spiritual duty or spiritual debt here. No, this is an energy that entraps. We need to let it go because it wants access to our holy grail. We need to let it go. There's a teacher or a teaching here. Okay, and whatever that is, I don't actually know. We could have to seek wise counsel. We could need to take a moment to go inside. We have a higher power that we're working with and working through, and we need to be secure in that circumstance and situation before we go on, carry on doing whatever, however, with this individual. Yeah, it's going to be a precarious and a prickly resolution. This is a hot experience, one that's explosive, incendiary, dramatic. Meaning, yeah, there's a solution inherent in that energy, but it's also going to come with a little bit of a fight. Because we're desiring here to detach. And that's, if we've been looking for an answer, it's the right thing to do. There's going to be a lot of circumstances we need to detach from. We might have put a lot of time, energy, effort, and attention into them. We might be thoroughly invested. If it's not yielding what we wanted to, that's it. Something would have happened about a week ago that showed us that we couldn't really go on, move forward. There would have been some kind of collapse or rupture. A plan might have backfired, something that should have worked didn't work, or we might find out that we haven't properly planned for something. We will be losing patience in something as well. In the days after the new moon, the universe will be giving to a new cycle, and an old cycle won't be as supported anymore. And that might be uncertain right now, but in the next week, it will not be. We're most definitely being told to withdraw our energy here and to divest. I'm hearing the word divest, but we're having a detachment. Nine of Cups, Four of Cups, detachment clarified by the sun. This is growth, expansion, vitality, renewal. We get better once we let go or move back, step back. Because we're going to collapse or rupture if we try to hold strong here. Nine of Wands. And we're going to see that starting on the 24th onwards. Because it's saying, for the last 2 weeks or so, we've been sitting on a plan that isn't really working. Or we need to put some energy into it in a way that does give it a chance to work. And the solution might be slightly different than what we thought. We're going to have a blinding flash of the obvious soon, and it may unsettle us. Yeah, so we're going to be losing a little bit of patience here. Temperance with the Strength card. We're going to be losing a little bit of patience. We're going to be meeting with an energy, but here's what happens. This energy is working against itself. On Namiko, it's working against itself. The Nine of Swords. We're going to see somebody that's in distress. And we're going to want to intervene, but really they're of an opposing mind. They're at cross purposes with themselves. They're of two minds. They need to become more decisive. Two of Swords. And actually, it's going to continue over the next month. That they're not going to feel better until they're not going to even start to get better until around the Aquarius full moon, which is around the 9th or 10th of, it's the 9th of August, is when they start to get better because something's going to be revealed to them at that time. But we're ahead of the curve. We've already kind of surpassed them a little bit. See, part of the thing is, I think we want the same thing, but we're going about it in a different way. I remember the Five of Wands. I don't remember what was clarifying it. But the Five of Wands can mean too many cooks in the kitchen, can mean going about the same thing. I mean, going about something the same way, but wanting the same, excuse me, too many cooks in the kitchen, going about something in opposing ways, but wanting the same thing, striving, competing for something. Because this is saying that somebody wants to be on the same page with us, but they're operating out of a place of opposition. And we do have a twin flame energy here with the Four of Wands and the Temperance card. It's here it's saying that there's some kind of contriviality. They should be more sincere and they're hiding their feelings. And that's Lamante, they're hiding their feelings. Il Nemico, that's actually working against them. Because really what we need to be doing is focusing on getting on the same page, whether it's romantic or otherwise. But we had a romantic combination come, so, and we're done with the reading too. So the last part here is we use the Pop of Love Oracle over at Etsy by Vibe About It Tarot to deliberate the findings for any type of union, communion, or partnership. So we also have we have a twin flame union here. So I think the obstacles to our twin flame are going to be, because this is a message from the other side, family ties. Takes each other for granted, stops learning from another, and stuck spiritually, helps each other grow, not only as individuals, but as spiritual beings. So this is a lesson. Yeah, because like I said, they're unawakened. There's a narrative here. I'm fearful of letting go of what I have and what I know. What you're asking me is impossible and it makes me feel extremely uncomfortable. Okay, well, I've given you a standard and a boundary, and if you can't respect the boundary or meet the standards, then that says a lot. It's fine for you to be where you are, just don't expect me to be there with you. I have to lower my standards in order to coexist with you. That's harmful and detrimental to me. Standards is not about being better than or less than. Standards is refinement because refinement is safety. It's policy, procedure, and protocol. It's a way of orienting, navigating, and negotiating, participating and remaining present. Standards is about refinement, and it's not about bougie, better than, lower than, lesser than, whatever. It's literally about safety. Standards, when the standards don't make you feel shortchanged, and that will breed resentment. Contempt is one of the four horsemen of a relationship. So I was so hot and cold with you, and I knew that was confusing. Our connection was too much for me to handle, and that was the only way I could deal with it. So they're being sensitive, moody, vindictive, grudge holding, secretive, and jealous. This is not for us. There isn't a future focus, but again, because they do recover, but we have to move on, move forward, and let them catch up. And we don't move forward, expecting them to catch up and move forward because we've learned our lesson. Strong sense of self and feeling hopeful, awakened, and being aligned with the connection, positive outlook on life, and focusing on the future. Meaning, with the connection, it doesn't mean it's going to turn into something, because we can accept somebody for who they are, what they're about, and not at all tolerate them. And we have fall here. So fall isn't around the world. It's different hemispheres have different seasons. So fall metaphorically represents, we should have harvested by now, or at least planted the harvest for next year. Resources are starting to dwindle or become scarce. And there needs to be a refinement and a plan. Things need to be intentional. They can't be, there's not a lot of margin for error during fall. It's been an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to serve you. Thank you for allowing us to do so. If anything that was said resonated with you, go ahead and smash that like button. There's information to contact in the show notes. Until we meet again, until we read again. Namaste, Dhanava, and Ashe. Sayonara, Dasvidanya, Avidazane. Take care. We'll see you in the next one. Ciao.